It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
Judd, do you have a Judd's random baseball take loaded up today that we can tease to?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've always
I don't
got
want to put you on the spot here.
No, I appreciate that, but
Okay.
I've always got like random. I mean, I know you guys are shocked by this. I always have random sports thoughts.
Okay. So yeah, we've got Judd's random baseball take. We've got a random twin of the week. But our resident Twins beat podcaster, covering the team all season, spent a lot of hours in the clubhouse. You were on the call and talking with the Twins' new hitting coach, or at least, so it's Matt Borgschulte, right?
Correct.
That's how I pronounce it?
Correct. Borgschulte.
Are they hiring, I'm assuming, some other hitting coaches too? So is he the lead hitting coach, or how does this work?
I'm glad you asked that, Phil. And by the way, we did not even talk about this pre-show, but I'm glad you asked about that. So he will be the lead hitting coach. He was co-hitting coaches in Baltimore, so he held the
Senior
title.
Twins hitting coach?
Yeah, I don't know if
lead
the actual
beat
title. I think it's just hitting coach. I don't know if there's executive hitting coach.
The
for
vice
example.
president of hitting strategy.
The others will be the associate. That's what they
Associates.
do. They give embarrassingly bad titles to the guys that aren't the main guy.
the associate hitting coach.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the ASS part. You know what I'm saying?
God. But Rocco confirmed there won't be a co-hitting coach, and they'll likely back him up with one and potentially two others. They're working through those possible hires, those decisions. So Borgschulte will be the lead hitting coach. They're going to likely hire for sure one more guy, potentially two more. So what was Rudy Hernandez and I think Derek Schulman?
Yep.
I know Derek Schulman was the assistant. I think Rudy was technically like infield coordinator, but a lot of those
Diaz,
assistants
man. That's
have a bunch of utility hats that they put on. So yes, he will be the lead hitting coach. There'll be at least one more hire underneath him and potentially two.
I'm just lob another question at you, and then wherever you want to take this because you're on the call. But what do the Twins hope to accomplish by essentially overhauling their coaching strategy? Like, what do they hope to accomplish as a hitting group? Do we know?
I think number one, they want to have a better approach with situational hitting. I don't think they like their approach with situational hitting. So runners in the scoring position. I mean, look at those two god-awful performances against the Red Sox in Boston on a Friday night and then the Marlins game, Judd. Though, I mean, that Marlins game, I'm not someone who I'm very thankful and privileged to be able to cover this team and watch baseball for free. That was the most painful Major League Baseball game I have ever seen. Not being able to get a bunt down, not being able to move a runner. It is pretty hard to go to an 11th inning, let alone a 12th or 13th with the Manfred rule. And the Twins could not figure out how to move a guy. So I think number one, situational hitting. They want a different situation hitting approach. Two, they want a plan that I think everyone can understand and that is universally accepted from everyone down. So, for example, like when Borgschulte got hired, I talked to you guys about how Baltimore and Judd, are you ready? This already upsetting you? I just saw the groan from
Yeah,
Judd.
you look like pain.
Oh, yeah, I'm
you look like you're
no,
like, oh,
I'm
here
letting
we
you
go.
finish, but I'm pained by this. But yes.
Oh, you got Judd's random baseball take on hitting.
Oh, this
philosophies.
isn't random.
I'm
This is
very
gonna be an
excited.
attack.
Baltimore had a bunch of, the young prospects we talked about, the Jackson Hollidays, the Rutschmans, et cetera. Those guys were all top 5, top 10 picks that graduated from the major leagues and pretty much had success right away. Maybe not Jackson Holliday, but a lot of them had success right away and graduated from the major leagues. And I asked Borgschulte about what is the biggest challenge from getting young hitters, and especially highly regarded prospects who have just dominated baseball at every step of the way until they get to the majors. And maybe there's a little taste, like Brooks Lee had a good first 2 weeks. Royce Lewis had a good first 2 years when he was healthy. But then the adjustments start to kick in, right? And Borgschulte talked about it's all about continuing to make the proper adjustments to your game and to your swing that will keep you around long term. And I don't know, and I don't think it was just on the Twins hitting coaches that prevented the guys from Royce Lewis and Brooks Lee. At the end of the day, it is the players that are going out there. But I don't know they loved the plan at the end of the day that the previous hitting regime was giving to the players. and they're hoping for a better philosophy with Borgschulte, who, by the way, also has familiarity with a lot of these players from being a minor league hitting coach in the organizations from previous years.
All right. So was Rocco asked about the fact that at the end of the year, when asked about these very things that you just talked about that they would like to improve, when he was asked about this, like, he defended the approach and actually blamed the players? Like, this is a very sudden turn. The other thing is, do we know Borgschulte wasn't shown the door in Baltimore? Because he worked with a hitting coach by the name of Ryan Fuller there, who was fired.
Yes.
So what's the story?
So Fuller was blown out. He was gone. The plan was to make Borgschulte the full-time hitting coach in Baltimore. That was the plan.
Okay.
From what I've been told, that was their plan for Baltimore. And then the Twins, because Borgschulte already had it sounded like when Borgschulte left for Baltimore, everyone in the organization was like crushed, but also like understanding of an opportunity. And so I asked Rocco, when you were starting to plan the next hitting coach, was Borgschulte like immediately like top of mind of like, hey, candidates, let's go call Borgs, as they call him. Let's go call Matt Borgschulte and see if he wants to come back here. And Rocco confirmed that yes, essentially he was one of the first guys they circled. They went through the interview process and they realized, yes, let's get him over here. So he was planning to stay in Baltimore. That was the initial plan, I think, until the Twins came and said, you know what, let's come over here instead.
So to go back on, was Baldelli asked about his change of opinions or change of face on the fact that at the end of the year he was blaming the players, and then they said, screw it, let's blame the coaches?
I did not ask that, no.
Okay.
But
I'd just be curious what the response, because he went pretty hard. Like, you would think if he knew that they were on the precipice of blowing out his coaches, that he would have just sort of like backed off on the answer. I'm not saying attack the coaches. I'm just saying it was very odd that he basically turned it on the players when he could have just said, yeah, we've got to improve our entire approach.
But don't you think that, first of all, he's not going to throw his coaches under the bus aggressively, but
I don't expect that.
I don't know what the exact percentage is, but major league hitting coach, and if there's a 100% pie chart of your offensive performance as a team, how much credit can even a great hitting coach even take in that pie chart? 5%, maybe 10%?
The amount of hitting coaches blown out since the end of the season is incredible. And in fact, David Popkins has gotten a job with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wow.
So like this is the old school offensive coordinator. Let's fire him to make a mark move of all time.
Yeah. You know, just on the hitting, and I'll call it the run scoring philosophy. And we touched on a couple of these things like 2 or 3 weeks ago when they blew out the coaching staff. But if you look at the things on Fangraphs, so Fangraphs does a great job of just like high level, where were you gaining the most runs? Where were you losing the most runs relative to league average? And the Twins, so weighted on base average, which is essentially OPS, but weighed properly for the value of getting on base is more than the value of slugging in the run creation equation. So like weighted on base average is a universally accepted metric in front offices. And the Twins offense was actually 11th in weighted on base average. I mean, they were ahead of Atlanta. They were ahead of Kansas City, Cleveland, some other playoff teams. So overall, it's not a train wreck offense, and Royce Lewis was red hot for a long time. But when you dig beneath the surface, where the Twins actually lost the most relative to the rest of the league, they were one of the worst base running teams in baseball. Now, I don't know if a new hitting coach comes in and has a role in that. Okay, we need to go first to third more often, guys. We need to be not getting thrown out at home plate as often, which I'd have to go dig deep and see if the Twins, like getting thrown out at home plate, was more of a thing relative to the league. But base running was a huge problem for the Twins last year. And OPS with runners in scoring position, they dropped from 6th 2 years ago down to 20th. Those are two huge categories. Those are like high leverage, getting thrown out on the base paths or not picking up extra bases to move the chains. And then when the chips are on the table and there's runners on second and third, the Twins were bad in those situations. I don't know to what extent a new coach is going to completely change those things, or if it's just on the guys holding the bat in their hands.
Yeah, I don't think, first off, I don't think the base running deficiencies have a thing to do with the hitting coach. But I will say this: I think if you look this up, I think they have been awful in running the bases at least a couple times with Baldelli. Like they are inexcusably poorly prepared there, and it's an art. Like it is an art. The other thing is, I also think where this falls a little bit flat is, when Carlos Correa is out for an extended period of time, things aren't going to go as well at the plate. Like I'm willing to bet the stats that you just read were going okay or at least better until Correa left, and then of course he was out for 2 months. But I think that you just hit on something that's imperative to improve. You can't play you can't run the bases like dummies.
I'm going back here on Fangraphs, so
Feels like it's been bad before with Baldelli.
it has been very, very bad. I'm trying to find. They've been bottom 5 or bottom 10 every year going back before the pandemic. When did Rocco take over?
2019.
19 with the Yankees.
2019.
The Bamba.
Okay, so at no point in Rocco Baldelli's managerial tenure have the Twins ranked even top half of the league in base running metrics, the Fangraphs base running sort of plus minus metric. Under Falvey and Levine, or now just we'll call it the Falvey because it's the Falvey regime. It was the Falvine regime for a long time, but we know how that turned out. Yeah, I mean they were 2018. Paul Molitor was regarded as
one of the greatest,
wizard, right?
One of the great base runners of all time.
But they were 22nd in 2018 in this metric, and 2017 was the first year under Derek Falvey. They were 5th. So the only time they've been top half of the league in base running, the Fangraphs base running metric, runs above average, was the first year of Derek Falvey and Thad Levine. It's pretty bad. They're a bad base running team. Now, some of that is like if you have faster runners, you're going to gain more bases. If you have more aware and high IQ runners, you're going to gain more bases. Some of it is third base coach knowing when to stop a guy, when to send a guy home. And some of it is like situational hitting too. If you can get a guy that knows how to put a ball in play in a certain spot, right? So there's a bunch of things that go into it, but the gap between the best and worst base running teams can be like 20, 30 plus maybe 40 runs over the course of a season. So interesting. Okay, so Borgs is going to fix all this. Borgs is the answer. Is that what we're saying?
I guess that's what they're going to hang their hat on. I mean, he did say because he has familiarity with the organization, like other players already have reached out to him. I even saw on Ryan Jeffers' Instagram, like him and Walker Jenkins. I think Walker Jenkins is also a North Carolina kid. I could be wrong on that. I know Jeffers is from NC and still resides down there in the offseason. Like they were working out together recently. And so I think him having familiarity with some of these guys, and it is a very classic Twins organization thing to bring back someone that has familiarity with your young prospects and players. Like that is a classic Twins thing to do. But I think they probably, as much as Rocco defended his coaches, which he's going to do, that's how coaches are going to operate. They know the success of the Twins is literally tied up into the Royce Lewis, the Brooks Lees, Edward Julian at a crossroads, Walker Jenkins knocking on the door, Emmanuel Rodriguez knocking on the door. If the Twins are going to succeed and not fall back on their face like they did at the end of the last 6 weeks, it's not up to Carlos Correa. Not all, on Carlos Correa. It's mostly tied up in those younger players taking the next step because they were just a terrible team when he went out.
On this gorgeous Reckless Speculation Thursday, I got a question, but I'm gonna delve into a territory that's definitely reckless. Dex, do you think with how last year came to an end, which was definitely friction in the clubhouse, but you could also friction between, it felt like Baldelli and Royce, friction organizationally with Brooks Lee felt like, do we think that this was an olive branch of sorts as well? Because, Royce Lewis should be a huge part of your team, like arguably the most important player that the Twins have. Do we think that, because it felt like it ended really sour and weird, and it definitely felt like not just Baldelli, but like Correa came back after 2 months off and sort of blamed, hey, these guys got to do their job. Do we think that this might have something to do with that? Royce and Brooks Lee, who definitely struggled at the end, were like, well, we didn't really get what was necessary. And they're like, okay, we're going to try to start to soothe things a bit. by changing the, not one, not two, but three guys are gone, and then you're going to bring in probably three new hitting coaches.
Well, you'll as much as we just talked about, like, what impact do hitting coaches have on rosters? I guess we'll figure out here. Like, the blame game that they're assessing is the hitters weren't prepared by when they assess things at the end of the year. And Falvey talked about that Marlins game because he thought the Red Sox game, and there was a belief that Falvey, Rocco in general, like when they won that just god-awful game in Boston, that was going to be, okay, this has been a bad last 5 weeks. This is our stepping stone. We came out on top. This is what will push us over. We'll still get into the playoffs. And obviously that didn't happen. And then when the Marlins game happened, they all realized, okay, there's something, even though the players aren't doing their jobs and they aren't living up to their potential, there's something more at work here. So I think the hiring of Borgschulte is literally, it's going to confirm whether these guys are prepared properly, whether they weren't prepared properly with the previous regime. It's unfairly on the shoulders of Borgschulte and the hitting coaches. It's 100% not on them, but they're banking on the fact that they weren't prepared properly, and Borgs will give them a better plan to execute.
All right. Borgsy. Gardenhire would have called him Borgsy.
Borgsy.
Oh, yeah, Borgsy.
Borgsy?
Yeah.
Borgsy.
For sure.
Got to put the SY on the end of that thing, for sure.
That's a very hockey thing. And Gardy liked that. Like, he very much put the SY.
He's a hockey guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely a puck type of guy.
Yeah. I think it's time for Judd's random baseball take of the show.
Baseball.
I do have one, and it's very simple. So years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I was doing a show with Royce, I think on a Saturday, and the show got done, and I complained about, I think it was like 2018, and I said, Pat, in 2018, why doesn't, in the World Series, why are we still alternating? It's the American League this year, it's the National League next year. I said, why doesn't the team with the best record get home field? It makes a ton of sense. Yeah, we're past the days of guys getting on commercial flights and like, hey, you might get a window seat. It used to be because travel wasn't as simple. And Rice is like, you can't do that. If you do that, the media, how are you going to know where the hotels are and all that? And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense right now. Anyway, push comes to shove. Eventually, they're like, hey, what's a good idea? Home field for the team with the best record. So now I got another complaint. 2024. Why on God's green earth? Like baseball. Okay, baseball is among my favorite sports. Hockey's a niche sport, but among, NBA, football, right? They rule the roost. They set dates. The NBA's playoff schedule is ridiculous, but they don't care. They're huge. So here's my complaint. Why don't we have different dates for the start of the World Series based on when the LCSs end? Why are we waiting until Friday?
It's to line up your TV schedule.
Right, but I'm saying, but we could have, it's not like the LCS. If the LCS maxes out, then Friday's fine. But why don't we have it so that TV...
I'll say it again with different inflection. It's because of the TV schedule. They want to plan primetime TV.
I understand that, but I will say it again. I will go back to, you give them, if they're both sweeps, then you tell TV, this thing's going to start, because you're going to maximize interest. You are waiting way too long to start the World Series. This is ridiculous. It's unnecessary. TV can have options of, I'm not saying that you pick every date and say, let's start on Tuesday. No, let's start on Wednesday. I'm saying, let's have it scheduled out so that if the LCS, like let's say the latest running LCS ends in 5, then you're going to start the World Series on Wednesday. And by the way, the World Series very soon is going to not be on, in my opinion, at least not all the games, network TV. It's going to go to like the Fox Sports channel, which exists right now. But nonetheless, this gap between the end of the League Championship Series and the start of the World Series is just another in the slow-moving process that I think disintegrates interest. Like, I literally have people now tweeting me about, does this thing start? And these are baseball fans.
And I have another question. Is the World Series on Fox?
Yes.
Yeah. It's on Fox Network, right?
It's on right now. It's on Fox Network. Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Fox Network has a lot of highly rated
absolutely.
shows with advertising schedules, and they want to plan those things out weeks and months in advance.
But
like the Fox knows when the Super Bowl is going to be. The NBA, you can make the same case for the NBA, but
didn't the same thing happen with the NBA last year, where there was like a 10-day, 9-day thing?
Yeah. Because ESPN and ABC, as they plan out their year of TV and advertising schedules, they want to know, what are we doing on this date, this date,
that's
this
what
date?
I just
so they
said,
aren't scrambling around.
But that's what I just said. Baseball doesn't have the luxury. The NBA is huge. The National Football League is God. Baseball, Fox wants to actually have anyone interested. By Friday, no one, unless you're in the competing cities, is going to care.
So you're saying that you think your premise is that the games would be more highly rated if it was 3 days, if game 1 was 3 days earlier?
I'm saying you are chasing away people by making them wait so long for this thing to start. And by the way, you're also, and here's where Fox would have given this year. Fox would have given and said, you are right. Because if you guys know this, the game 6 and 7 of the World Series are scheduled for November, and we are getting closer to November 6th, which is election day.
The other thing that you're not considering is there are 45,000 fans that buy tickets for these games, and they want to know when the game is, when they plan their travel, when media is planning hotels and everything.
Right.
It can't just be that, if the Dodgers win tonight, the World Series actually starts in 3 days or 2 days. So we need to.
You're making the same argument that Royce made about you've gotta know where the World Series is going to start.
You do,
but you know that it's going to start with a team that has the best record. What his point was there has to be more planning, and I said no, there doesn't.
So, just so I'm clear, because I already can hear Judd's random baseball take if this was flipped. If the NLCS ended on a Thursday and Game 1 of the World Series was on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, you wouldn't be ripping baseball for going up against Sunday Night Football?
Why would you start it on Sunday?
Because you just said to start 3 days after the NLCS ends.
No. I'm saying start the World Series, pick a day based on when the LCS ends.
They did.
That you're going to.
It's
I know,
Friday.
and it's too late.
What day would you put it?
You're literally saying the same thing. That the point is, it's 2024.
Judd, they pick Friday because there's no NFL. Wisely, they pick Friday because there's no NFL on Friday.
And
so the only other options would be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I guess, as backup plans.
You could have started it on Wednesday.
But then, Judd, the amount of production. Your point is, as a fan, it'd be awesome if we could just get the show on the road. But you literally have production trucks and fans and stadium logistics. People need.
Yes, I know. But here's the thing. The LCSs have been done for so long now. You can get everything there. It's not an issue. I'm not saying
But if it wasn't an issue, why? If it wasn't an issue,
they do it?
They would do it.
For the same reason why for years they left the start of the World Series, they decided let's rotate American and National League because they don't adjust with the times. And by the way, again, the World Series is not going to be on network TV in about 5 years. It's going to be on cable. It might be on streaming with the way things are going.
I mean, there's no reason to we all just disagree here. But the NBA does it specifically because logistically you have to do it that way. That's why the NBA does it.
Okay, never mind.
No, go ahead.
I explained the whole thing.
This is Judd's random baseball. I know it.
The NBA has the ability because they're bigger. They're huge. They can tell you whatever they want.
I feel like you're giving too much credit to a 3-day difference being double the audience. And I think baseball's problems go way beyond
they do.
A 48-hour wait on the Game 1 of the World Series.
They do. I'm trying to fix all of their problems. The problem is they can't even fix their small problems. So how are they going to fix their big problems?
You can be the one to tell all of these families that marked a vacation of Game 1. We are going to Game 1 of the World Series on Friday, and now we can't go.
You're right.
Tuesday,
you're right.
And it's a school night.
Let's keep things the way they've always been. We can't adjust them. Nothing can be adjusted. Let's just always do the things the way. You know what, baseball? You go back to no pitch clock, no nothing. Let's keep the games long. Let's just punt.
Now you're just.
Let's just punt. Oh my God!
It's time. Judd's random baseball take has become the best segment on SKOR North.
Yeah.
This is great.
I love it.
All right, it's time for a random twin of the week here. It's going to be Dex's turn to throw out the clues. So all time, I have 23 wins. Declan has 20, and Judd has 17. Judd correctly guessed Lance Lynn last week. Before that, it was Casey Fiend, Logan Morrison, Todd Jones, Sam Dyson, Randy Bush. Woo. So Declan will throw out the clues. Judd and I, we can't Google. We can reference the list of previous random twins. Once one of us hits a third incorrect guess, a third strike, the other one wins automatically. Here we go.
All right.
This random twin of the week played in 789 Major League games. It appears that this random twin of the week was a top 100 prospect in 2 different seasons. He was number 78, and then the next season he was number 37.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a top
That's
40
actually
prospect.
Very high.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a lot of trickery of late. I feel like this was the start of some trickery by Declan.
trickery?
I like it. Now, I mean, there's just been a lot of ambiguity, excuse me.
Giggity.
Giggity. All right.
I think I have a guess.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
'cause you
he
did
was
get-
higher. He was higher than
Because
37.
you did get the last one after like 4 clues.
That was pretty impressive.
Logan Morrison. Yeah.
Lomo carried a boombox.
This random twin of the week made his Major League debut at age 21. And he came straight from Double A when he made his Major League debut.
Okay.
All right, David McCarty.
David McCarty
I don't think
is incorrect.
so. I don't think so.
He's
Phil have a guess.
Late David McCarty. That's sad.
Was that Phil's guess actually?
It was not. No.
No, because he said no right
funny.
away.
No, I'm saying, what did he have the same guess in mind?
Oh,
No. So you said, was he MLB debut at 21, and then that was the last
Yep.
clue
Yep. And then he came straight from Double A
from Double A.
to make his Major League debut.
straight from Double A. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to be looking at the list just to clarify for those who are watching this who are like, what is Judd doing? I am going to look at the list. And Phil, guess or no?
No, I don't have a guess.
Okay. Sorry, Dex, go ahead.
Do you have another guess, Judley?
I do not. I am just looking something up, but I will wait.
Okay.
Keep going.
I have another thought though on the World Series logistical.
Yeah, we're past
No?
that.
Okay.
We're past Judd's
Okay.
random. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
So he made his Major League debut. He jumped up from Double A, but it was just for 3 games. And then he went back down to the minor leagues. Very prolific minor league hitter, too, by the way.
But debut at 21.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a Twins player who did exactly this that I remember. I don't think we've used him. Question for you on question 1. He played in 789 games.
Yeah.
Is that in the past tense or is that a current?
Passed. Passed.
okay,
I'll give you that. Passed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That takes
This
time.
random twin of the week is no longer playing baseball.
Okay. That takes
Because
out my-
I feel like we've had a
Yep.
few.
Yeah.
Well,
Lance Lynn.
Jorge Polanco came up against the Marlins for a series because they had injuries and he was really young. And but actually he came from Class A. Now that I think
He
about
did
it.
come from Class A.
But
Yeah.
anyway, it sort of had the same type of little track there. Okay.
Prolific minor league hitter. Slashed. This was a slash line in the minor leagues in 684 minor league games, by the way. 288, 402, 446. Had a 848 OPS in the minors.
Okay. So the number 37 prospect was his highest ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And all of this happened with the Twins.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Oh.
All of these clues, I'll say this. He his entire career was not spent with the Twins, but the
Yeah,
minor
but all
league
the other
accomplishments, the prospects, the debut, all happened with the Twins,
Okay, right.
where he spent 5 seasons with the Twins.
So the Okay, oh God, but was this guy is 37 seems low for the guess I'm about to make.
That's where I'm at. I have like 3 guesses. One of them was top 10 prospect.
Everything else lines. And now this guy wasn't he was a good hitter.
This random twin of the week hit 256 in his major league career.
Jason Kubel.
Jason Kubel is incorrect. So a couple strikes, or 1 strike down for each of you.
So, oh boy, okay.
You said 256 with the Twins or career?
Career. Was a 267 hitter with the Twins in his career.
All right. 789 games. I think I have a guess. Let me again make sure that this is.
This other guy was a top 5 prospect too, maybe number 1.
Yeah, that's my problem. I don't think the guy I'm about to guess or that I want to guess was as low as 37.
This clue Ken favored probably more Mackey than Judd, but
You son of a.
his best WAR season was a 4.3 WAR season. I will say his career WAR was 8.3, so he was kind of a.
Oh, wow.
He had 2 good years. Every other year was pretty much a replacement level player. He had back-to-back years of a 4.3 WAR and then a 2.7 WAR, and then never accumulated more than 1 WAR in a season.
Okay, I got it. No, I don't.
Okay.
But I'll guess. I'll guess.
That's incredibly
Well, no,
confident.
you said he was a top. No, you said his prospect rankings were with the Twins.
Yep. Those are Baseball America overall rankings. So like 37.
But he was with the Twins system though when
Yes,
he was
correct,
the top
correct.
100 prospect.
Yep. Twice, this random twin of the week led the major leagues in assists at his position. 2 different years he led.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Now I know that all of these things, or many of these things, came with the Twins, and he started his career with the Twins. But you haven't answered this one yet. I'm just curious if I can get clarification. Was this gentleman drafted by the Twins?
Yes.
Okay, well that eliminates another name. Twice led the Twins in assists.
Big leagues.
Big
Major
league
leagues.
assists. Oh, that's a dicey clue. That could be so many different things.
2 good years.
In 3 different years, he led the league in double plays turned in his position.
I mean, Alexi Casilla?
Incorrect.
Down to my last one. We might have even used him. Yeah, we did. He was one of the first. That was a completely wasted guess. He was
All
the
right.
6th one we've ever done.
Double plays turned.
This random twin of the week
This is
had
great.
some big shoes to fill. This random twin of the week made his debut in 1993 with the Twins.
Oh, man.
1993?
Pat Mears. We already did him, though. That's not a guess,
It's not a guess. Okay.
because we already did Pat Mears.
No, this guy wasn't a good fielder. Okay, I was going to guess. I'll just guess this. I don't think it's right because I think this guy was a higher prospect, but what the hell? Todd Walker?
Todd Walker
He came around later.
is incorrect. You want to guess it, Judd? Or was that your second?
We both
Second.
are down to our last guess.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
Big shoes to fill. Wait, so just to clarify, he led the league in double plays turned?
Mm-hmm. He wasn't an infielder, though.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No, this isn't. No, that guy played more than 700.
Double plays turned, but he wasn't an infielder. But how do you turn a double play if you're not an infielder? This is
You can
turned
turn
into
him
a
as an
riddle.
outfielder. Yes, you can. You can turn double plays as an outfielder.
But how would he lead the league in involved in double plays if he's an outfielder?
As double plays turned at his position as an outfielder, he had 5, 9,
got you. Okay.
5. He also led the league in assists with 11 and 16.
Shane Mack.
Shane Mack is incorrect.
Judd wins.
Judd wins by default.
Son of a
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me.
Pedro Munoz.
No, he wasn't that good.
Led the league in putouts too in 1996.
Have we done Kadire yet?
Not
Well,
much Kadire.
well, Kadire didn't come along
93.
until.
Yeah, that's
like-
right. Yeah.
And we already did Marty Cordova, who didn't come up till '94.
Wait, hold on a second here. Who
Big
am I-
shoes.
This
to
guy
fill.
forced Kirby Puckett to move to right field.
Shane Mack.
No.
Alex Cole.
Nope.
Hold on. Pedro Munoz played.
Wait, Shane Mack. Didn't Shane Mack go to center field? Rich
Yeah.
Becker?
Rich
No, he
Becker.
In 1995, I'm not going to use his name. In 95, this random Twins first full year with the Twins, manager Tom Kelly put blank in the position of succeeding Kirby Puckett as the Twins center fielder.
Rich Becker. It's Rich
Rich Becker.
right?
Rich Becker. Ding, ding, ding. Man, I got stumped.
Rich Becker. When you said he had 2 good seasons, there's no way I ever would have guessed Rich Becker, but he did draw a lot of walks. He was also one of Tom Kelly's least favorite players in his managerial career.
Yeah, he and Todd
hated
Walker.
Rich Becker.
He and Todd Walker. Kelly
Rich Becker
hated
was a
them.
disaster.
Rich Becker. I don't remember. Here's the weird thing.
Judd
I
wins by
watched
default.
those teams. I don't remember Rich Becker having a bunch of assists.
Yeah, he had 11 in 95. He
Oh,
had
God.
16 in 96.
All right.
So the word I got twisted up by the word turned. Doubles plays turned, because you're not really like turning a double play in the outfield. You're doubling someone off would be the double play.
In range factor, he was number 1 in baseball in 1996.
He did have good speed.
Rich Becker.
Put
he was a
out-
top 100 prospect, huh?
Oh yeah, he
number
was a big.
37.
I do remember that.
What round was he drafted? Third round
Third.
draft pick?
Third round pick.
Holy cow.
Went to the Mets, Birds,
Yeah.
Brewers, A's,
That
Tigers.
wasn't my finest hour.
Wow. I mean, well, you won though. So
Yeah. Well, what's the tally now? I think I've got. Do I have 18 wins now?
that would be your 18th, I believe, your 18th career win there. So
Jack
congratulations. Back-to-back wins for Judd, Lance Lynn, and Rich Becker.
They
2
come in
all-time
They
Twins
come in
fan
waves.
favorites.
Hopefully, I can win next week, because then for the next month and a half, you won't have any Judd wins. It's incredible.
All right, we got more off-season hot stove stuff ahead in the coming weeks, and more random Judd's baseball takes as well. So
Controversial.
we'll see you guys next time on the SKOR North Twins Show.
Borgs.